Huh?
Okay, you can. So she live now on the screen. Okay, so you can try to hang up. It's your feedback
Okay.
from your laptop. So try hang up. So you got our volume.
Okay, we good?
We good.
Perfect.
Bring your volume up though.
Turn my mic back up. How's that?
We in there like swimwear.
All right, perfect. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real, and I am still coming to you from one of my favorite places, Martha's Vineyard. I love it. I would say in Dukes County, Massachusetts. I love that y'all got the whole thing in there. It is actually raining here this morning. It's real crazy outside. It rained all day yesterday, but there are a ton of things to do inside yesterday. So I'll talk a little bit about that. But first of all, let me say good morning to the brothers in the building. What's up, Mr. Rideout? How you doing this morning, sir?
Hey, I'm doing pretty swell. How about yourself?
Can't complain. Like I said, even though it's raining, still got tons to do, and I'm gonna get out today, attend a couple of events. So looking forward to that.
What's the temperature like out there?
Say what?
I said, what's the temperature like out there?
It's been probably in the evening. It's like low 70s. And during the day you can get high mid to high 80s. So yeah, but it hasn't been like a scorcher. The sun is like directly on you, but it hasn't been like unbearable at all. My grandson was out in the down at the beach 2 days ago. Man, this boy was out so far in the water. I looked at his daddy like, did you lose your mind? He had on a life jacket, Mom. That boy, when I saw the video, I almost had a heart attack because I didn't go. But they showed me the video. My grandson was out in the middle of nowhere, just out, just kicking it, living his best life. He had a life jacket on. But I was like, oh, these are the most irresponsible people I ever seen in my life. And then on the video, you can hear my son say, dang, he out there far. I was like, oh my God. So nothing short of crazy. But yeah, so it's been great though. I saw a lot of storm damage. I'm seeing stuff still, trying to be cleaned up down there. Y'all good, man?
Oh, we good.
Okay. What's going on, Zebo? How you doing this morning?
Be glad when you get home.
Really? Why? What's the problem?
Miss you.
It ain't that I miss her.
I knew that.
When she's out of town, we scrambling in the morning. When y'all still at home, I'm on with Michelle. We trying to make sure that this comes off without a hitch. So I appreciate you getting up earlier than normal and all. Well, it's probably around the time you usually get up anyway, but we get her done. I'm just ready for you to come home.
Anyway,
that part.
I'm trying to figure out how to do my show remote forever.
Though, what's with the Oak Bluffs hat? What's that?
Say what?
The hat you're wearing. What is that?
Oh, that's the name of the area that we're staying in.
Oh, okay. Do they have it in black?
They do.
I'll take one of those if you don't mind.
Okay, let me make a note.
Well, if you taking it, ain't that considering stealing?
It's not Wednesday, Jermaine.
That sounds like a Wednesday question.
It's a wish. It's.
He just said, "I'll take one."
I'm asking of one.
Oh, you got to make yourself clear nowadays, man.
That sounds like a Wednesday question.
No, it is Thursday. It's clearly Thursday, woman.
Is it Thursday?
Is it? I mean, that's what they tell us.
Yeah, like this.
Oh my God.
Work, huh?
Yeah, man.
Vacation.
I thought it was Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
No,
you know what? I'm glad you said that because it was something I needed to mention, and I was going to put it off until tomorrow, but there is no tomorrow.
Well,
okay.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, because I want to make sure. Oh no, I got time because it's next week. Keon's sister Tyra, they are continuing the work that he did with the Village Group. And so there's a neighborhood family fellowship event happening in honor of Keon, but it's next Saturday, August 8th, over at Atkinson Park. So I'll make sure that I talk about that all next week. But I was like, no. So okay, I'm good. I'm on track. I'm on track. All right, fellas, a lot to get to this morning. Let me open it up though, right out the gate by saying early voting, early voting, early voting, early voting. Have y'all voted yet? The two of y'all?
I have not. I got a text message from Congress. I'm sure it was a group, a mass messaging that was sent out.
Congresswoman Moore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got it. Too.
I typically like to do it day of, but I may just go ahead and get that off my plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was laughing. I'm gonna have to do it day of because of this trip, but I'm gonna start paying attention to these early vote numbers. So, how about you, Jay? You voted yet?
No, I haven't made it there yet.
So
but my plans are to.
I don't even know what that tone is.
I know.
I'm just saying, that's the early morning. Get yourself together, tone.
Yeah.
Can you turn the lights on so I can put the camera on you?
Oh man,
I can show you in the camera.
Hey man, I'm beautiful in the dark, man.
I want to know all of that.
All right, man. There you go, man. You go.
Now we can talk about something.
All right, let's talk about something.
What? Did y'all bring him some light? I can't see him. Did y'all bring some light stuff?
Right. Well, hold on 1 second. Let me screw in this light bulb. You know how it is around here. All right, it's screwed in.
Let me screw in this light.
Let me screw in the light bulb. We don't have to switch to turn it off. We got to screw it.
Thank you, Adeline. Adeline checked in. She said, I voted on Tuesday. See, responsible adults.
I didn't make it because I was here at work. And then when I got off, I went back to work. And then when I got off that job,
really,
I went home.
Really? You ain't passed by no early low. Midtown is right by you, dude. What is you talking about?
I don't go to Midtown. I'm too bougie.
Where you go? See how you got caught that line?
I had to tell you off the air.
See how you got caught? See the hesitation? You go nowhere. That's where you go.
You go nowhere.
But now I'm glad you hit that, because with early voting, you can go to City Hall, you can go to several different places.
Yeah, you can go several places.
But when it comes down to the actual election, you have to go within your polling area. Is that
you got to go to your polling location.
But
and
I did anywhere for early voting.
Say what?
That's what I heard.
But you can go any site for early voting.
There are only 5 sites that are in play for early voting.
But you can go to either of them.
Yep, you can go to any of those of your choosing. Good Hope Library, Midtown, Tippecanoe Library, Washington Park Senior Center. I think it's 06. Zablocki Library and Zyler Municipal Building. So there are 3 libraries in place. Good Hope, Good Hope, Tippecanoe, and Zablocki. And then there's Washington Park Senior Center, Midtown, and Zyler. I did reach out to the chair of the Election Commission, Terrell Martin, to raise the concern that I raised on Tuesday about the fact that the Midtown Center closes at 5:30. And while I certainly understand that if you look at it in just raw hours, Midtown and Zyler are open longer than any of the locations. But if more people would tend to vote after work and Midtown closes at 5:30, even though you're open longer hours, you still may not get the level of use and engagement. Sorry about my phone, y'all. You still may not get the level of use and engagement because a lot of those people would be coming after work. And with that short window, if you think about a traditional 8 to 5 situation, closing at 5:30, some of those people may not have time to get there. So I did raise that as a concern with the election commissioner. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Understand I got a caller on the line. Let's get them in real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, how you doing this morning, bro?
I'm doing fine.
What you got for me?
Well, Jazzy Tyler from 101.7 said she was concerned about Mandela Barnes, but she had support for David Crawley and Francesca Hong.
Yeah, with the Marquette poll coming out, more and more people are beginning to pick their camps and figure out where they're going. So I'm gonna talk about it this morning, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for flagging it. And let me see. I will get right to the poll. I promise you, because I know a lot of people have seen these results and folks are, ready to talk about it. So let me just finish up. And again, glad that Debo flagged. We have 6 early voting sites in play. Those are in play until August the 9th. Nope, August, hang on. Yeah, till August the 9th, my birthday. And then after that, you have to go to your regular polling location. So make sure that you understand the difference if you wait to vote on election day. A couple of other quick things I wanted to flag for you. For some of our listeners, or you got newcomers, people to the community that have not registered to vote. The last day to register to vote at an early voting site is Friday, August 7th. So even though those early locations are open until August 9th, the last day to register at early voting is Friday, August 7th. And the online voter registration, that period has passed. There was one other deadline I wanted to mention for you all. Ballot box drops it. Secure ballot drop boxes. You need to have that done by 6 p.m. on election day. And I think that was the biggest things that I wanted to mention. But we need to get on top of this. And again, encouraging people, hey, if you have not talked to other members of your family about voting, this is going to be a tight primary contest in this gubernatorial race. We want to make sure that folks are participating. Everybody that needs to weigh in, that they do. So please, 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 let's take care of that. All right, I got another caller on the line. Let's get them in. And good morning to my folks on Facebook and YouTube.
Good morning, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing this morning?
Okay, I'm doing pretty good. I'm on the north side. Could I go to North Division High School?
To vote?
Yes.
Okay, if you're going to vote before the election, so if you want to vote between now and August 9th, one of the closest areas to you is going to be either going downtown to Zeidler Municipal Building, or you can come over to Washington Park Senior Center. But you can't vote at North Division before, if that's your regular polling location. Do you know what your regular polling location is?
Yes.
Okay. Is it North Division?
That's where I go.
Huh?
That's where I go.
North Division.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you want to vote before August 9th, then you need to go to one of these 6 sites that I mentioned. If you want to wait till election day, then you go back to North Division and you vote there on August 11th. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Perfect, bro. And thank you for being on top of that. All right, y'all. So let me say, somebody said good morning. Early voted at Good Hope Library yesterday. Nice spot to go to. Thank you for calling. Thank you for sending me the message. One of the things I will just say, particularly as voting picks up, Good Hope is cool, except when it starts getting busy, because then you see cars going all the way up Good Hope, parking, because that parking lot is so small, trying to be able to get in there to vote. So it's great when it's moderate traffic, low traffic, but the minute those numbers pick up, yeah, y'all have a problem on your hand at Good Hope. That's my side of town.
Sure. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Let me interrupt. So
No.
with all of these empty buildings, well, first let me ask you this: do you think that they strategically did that so people can be like when they drive by and see that it's so many cars that they'll keep going and wouldn't go in because of the lack of parking and things like that?
No, I don't think it's a conspiracy on that. I think that they were trying to figure out a good location that the city definitely has control of to be able to make available to people with a degree of ease on the northwest side of town. The library typically is, where they typically, I said that twice, but the library is where they usually hold these polling sites, particularly for early voting. So, because like when they had the Midtown, the original one, that was over by the gym and that's
Subway. Yep.
Subway.
Yep.
They were paying to rent that space.
So why can't they do it again?
Because, well, number one, it was something going on with whoever owned that space.
Oh, so the city don't own it.
Well, yeah, they didn't buy it. They didn't want to buy it. And then, they went to the bank area across the street over off of 60th and Capitol. So they've been trying to, I'm sure, figure out how to manage the cost aspect of this thing.
Okay.
And it's easy to use the libraries because they own, those are city libraries. But I don't think it's conspiracy related at all, Jermaine.
No, I was just asking because even the little small things can try
Everything
against us. Yeah,
everything can make people not like. This is okay. It just dried up, and I just looked out the window. But a little bit of rain can stop people from coming.
Yeah.
So you're right. You have to make it as accessible, as easy, as inviting and conducive as possible to make sure that folks can, come and show up to vote. So no, I hear you. You're absolutely correct on that.
I mean, because I'm only being honest that if I was driving to the place to go vote and I saw cars all the way down the lot and there was nowhere to park and things like that, I know me.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, man, I'll come back some other time.
No, I've done it.
But
that may not happen.
Then I have to ask, how important is it to you to exercise that right to vote if you're not willing to sacrifice a few minutes to get it done?
See, and I do understand that aspect of it, and that is true. But me as a person, I know I would be like, oh no, it's too many people. Let me try to find somewhere else. Then you driving over to somewhere else, and then something happened in between you driving there that would detour you from. I'm just speaking from my experience.
Well, folks that was going to vote and know they was going to carry black behind the jail. They knew they was going to jail for even trying. So I ain't buying that one.
Well, what I will say is that particularly during the early voting time frame, I've gone over to the Midtown location when it was super packed, and because I'm like, I'm gonna run in, vote, and run out.
Right.
And got there and like, ooh, I didn't know it was this deep. And because of my schedule, I'm like, you know what? I'll circle back.
Right.
But I knew I had time to come back either later that day or I still had a couple of days left in early voting. So I appreciate that. Now, if you do that on election day, then yeah, Debo, everything that Debo says kicks in. Like, come on, y'all. Right. But that's the one thing too, to remind people with your employer. I don't think nobody told NOV that you get 2 hours to go vote. That you are supposed to be able to get 2 hours to go vote. So I just want to, make sure people say that to their employer, because folks try to vote on their lunch break. You run into these lines and like, man, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Let me do this.
Interject this, Michelle, quickly.
Yes.
I remember going to vote when Obama ran the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I was at Keenan, which is small, but we were down all the way back to 35th Street. And did nobody get out of that line?
No, especially if you was voting day of. Were you voting day of? Election day?
Yeah, it was election day.
Yeah, I mean, no, you can't get out because you don't know if you're gonna get back. So you have to stay that day. You're like, okay, if you got some room, I can see people coming back. But no, if you on election day, it's do or die. I can't come back up in here. This got to be done right now. And just to put it in perspective, because you said you were on Keenan and it went back to 35th Street. What was Keenan on? Like
30, right there by the police station, like 36 an hour.
So it was
okay. Okay.
No, not really a 2 block, but when you factor in coming around that corner, going up the stairs,
right.
That whole 35th Street being, it was long, but
it was deep, huh?
But you waited it out. You did that thing.
Yeah, you had to. You had to.
Raining outside though.
I didn't care if it was raining.
Oh yeah, nah, nobody this is the thing that's cool about people and frustrating about what we saw down in Georgia, because down in Georgia it was that scorching heat, and so people were bringing folks water, and you had Republicans that went to get the laws changed to say that you can't give somebody water while they're waiting in 99-degree heat to cast a ballot. like somehow or another, that's influencing their vote, which is complete nonsense. I've seen people go out and have ponchos for folks when it's raining on critical elections and say, here, you don't have an umbrella, here's a poncho, stay in line, don't get out of line. And so there, to Jermaine's earlier point, any little thing can mess up voter turnout, particularly in certain communities.
Yeah.
Let me do this, y'all. I'm up against the break. Let me take one real quick. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. When we get back, we're going to break down Marquette's poll. It's tight. We'll be right back, y'all.
You're live. Turn your mic on. Turn your mic back on.
Sorry about that. Welcome back. Thank you, Jay, for letting me know. And I apologize. I was engrossed in looking at some of this information from the polling that was recently done by Marquette University. So let me just say this. Marquette University, they are known for their election polls. And after doing one, I want to say it was on July 22nd, before David Crawley had made the decision to get back into the race. They had the data. Francesca Hong was leading in that poll. I think her numbers, oh my God, what is going on? Sorry, y'all. This is so crazy. All right, let me just turn it off because I'm trying to keep it on because I'm getting messages, but my ringer's on. I apologize. All right. So in terms of this poll, there was a need to do a second one once David Crawley, Milwaukee County Executive, re-enters the fray for the seat for governor. And so a lot of people were wondering, kind of like, okay, well, how does this, change the game? What does this mean? There's a lot of momentum, it seems like, behind David Crawley. So yeah, we definitely want to take a look at some new data that shows his emergence into the race. Well, that data is available. And I'm sure on one hand, there will be some people that will not be surprised at all. On the other hand, there will be some people that will be disappointed, and others will say, we got a lot of work to do in the next, how many days are left? 12 days, until folks start voting on August 11th. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to set it up because I got to take a break. There's a lot going on. So, we do more commercials when we got a lot going on. I'm going to take a break, but I'm going to say this. Francesca Hong increased her lead in this race by 11 points since the last poll was done. And this is with David Crawley getting back in the race. I appreciated what Marquette did in that they tried to go back and grab all of the people they originally spoke to for that last poll that was done like July 22nd. They weren't able to get to all of them. So I think about 159 people or so were new to this poll, but many of the people were the folks that they had spoken to previously. I'm going to take a break, but when we come back, let's break these numbers down because, again, they're depending on which camp you in, who your candidate is, how you interpret data and information. You may see this very differently. Some folks excited, some folks disappointed, but let's talk about it on the other side of the break. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I'll be right back, family. Are we back?
We live.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, y'all. So before I went to the break, Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM, coming to you live from Martha's Vineyard this morning. Before I went to that break, I brought up the Marquette poll, kind of laid some of the foundational information for how the poll why there was a need to do another poll, who they utilized to talk to. And I can't find the exact number, but I think I read somewhere it was like 854, 64, something like that, some odd people that were included in that poll in July 22nd. And so they were going for that same demographic, same polling numbers this time around. There were some things that clearly stood out. Number one, Francesca Hong, whether you are afraid that this woman is a democratic socialist and whatever that baggage means and what that comes with, she is resonating with people across the spectrum and has been consistently since this race has begun. She has always been in the top three. Always been in the top three in terms of candidates. When they looked at age in this poll, younger voters, 18 to 22, 18 to 29, whatever that number is, younger voters were overwhelmingly in the Democratic Party that were likely voters in this poll, overwhelmingly with Francesca Hong. Older voters, 60-ish, they were with Mandela. He actually beats Hong with older voters, folks that are more liberal, progressive leaning. Hong certainly is the one who emerges as the leader there. David Crawley's numbers have been fairly consistent. He's always landed somewhere in the middle of the pack. And in this poll, he comes in third. But I want to be clear, just from this poll, if you take Mandela's, let me go back and see, what did Mandela have? 16% or something else like that? If you take Mandela's 16%, David Crawley 7%, 2% that Joel Brennan got, and 2% for Kelda Roy's, all four of their numbers don't equal the 38% that Francesca Hong got in this poll. All four candidates together don't equal her numbers in this poll. Roughly 34% of people in the poll still undecided. So this thing can go either way. Nobody can walk away and say with a degree of certainty, see, told you this person wasn't going to win, told you this person was going to win, this person is completely out of the game, because that 34% has to have somewhere to go. The thing that I always talk about, Tony Evers endorsed David Crawley in this race. 36% of the people that they talked to, they, like 62% of the people, I think they said, were aware of it. It didn't sway the majority of people. They knew it, and they like Tony Evers. Tony Evers has a 51% approval rating. So he's a popular governor. But I keep telling people, a lot of folks don't pay attention to endorsements. They don't say, at least from a lot of elected officials. There are people that will pay more attention to endorsements from private lay citizens than they will from elected officials. They just will. And there's some validity for doing that, because a lot of elected officials, they just are they rubber stamps, man. They are going to keep in place who the political status quo wants to keep. Even if those folks are not doing a great job, they will not come out and say, oh no, I don't support, candidate blank, who's currently serving with me in the Senate. They're not going to do that because they don't want anybody to come out against them. So you always see elected officials' endorsements with a grain of salt if it's in chambers or in houses that they are a member of, because you don't want to offend, and I got to work with this person. So I keep telling people, so many folks have put their name on everything, on every candidate. As soon as they see your name appear on literature, people know you a rubber stamp. I can't trust what you say. You're just doing what the party told you to do. And so a lot of people said, yeah, I saw Tony Evers' endorsement of David Crawley. It did not impact the way I'm going to vote. Love Tony. But Tony can't tell me, influence who I pick for governor. I'm going to make that decision on my own. So I need people to appreciate that. One of the things that I did when David Crawley talked about he was getting in the race, you get the news announcements, I'm asking certain questions. How many people have already voted? People's ability to spoil or not spoil those ballots, be able to cast a different vote. What is going to be dramatically different this time than happened in the first, period of the election, that looks like there is a pathway to winning. All of those things, have got to be answered and dealt with. These are questions that people don't particularly care for. Everybody just wants you to jump on the bandwagon and be happy and excited. Yeah, we're going to get this done. We're going to get this done. And there's a pathway to get this done. And there's a reality about getting this done. It's two different things. The only thing I ask people to do is let's talk about what the pathway looks like and help explain that to people so they understand what they can do to help you be victorious. Mandela Barnes, a lot of people has felt like has been walking around with a chip on his shoulder because DC, David Crawley got back in the race. Like, oh, you're going to steal my momentum. You're going to steal some of the people that would have been voting for me. This clearly demonstrates that Mandela, even with David 7%, you're not touching Francesca Hong in these polls right now, except for with older voters. Now, the thing and I got to go to break again, but the thing that folks got to talk about, who's going to actually show up at the polls? Older voters are more consistent, but younger voters, when they are motivated, they will show up and clown. That's what happened in Donald Trump's election with Kamala Harris. Young white male voters who had traditionally stayed at home were getting all of the social media influencers and folks pushing them to go to the polls. They called it this manosphere situation. And they all like listening to Rogan and a bunch of young a bunch of podcasters that got connections and inroads to young white males. And these were the sleeping giants that woke up in that Kamala Harris race and flipped the election on its head. That's who did that. So anytime you tell me I'm getting ready to do something, the question is always, so how we get it done? What's the pathway? Where do we go? Let me take a break. When we come back, I'm going to wrap up this piece on that, but make no mistake, it's some folks that's sick this morning. And I don't care how many times they smile and go out in the public and look like, oh, yeah, y'all sick this morning. Because these numbers, and the one thing about the Marquette poll has been pretty reliable. It has been pretty reliable. Now, folks will say, how many black folks showing up in that poll? I don't know. I haven't done the demographic breakdown of the poll. I don't know. But I know they've been fairly consistent. So we'll see. They got 12 days, to sway people. That 34% in this poll that was sitting out there, if all of this truly is reflective of where we are, and I will simply say someone texted me this morning as I go to break, and they said, let me just pull this up real quick because I saw it, and somebody said, Michelle, I'm not surprised by the Marquette's poll. Not at all. Someone else, and where is that one at? They said, normally I have had no issues with voting. However, I'm finding myself struggling with who to vote for governor. I'm not sure. Shaking my head. I know that I will have to make up my mind soon by August 11th. And there it is. Let me take a break. I'll be right back. All right, are we back?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We good?
We back.
All right, perfect. All right, family. So I'm going to end, those remarks, the comments on the Marquette poll. But I will simply say this. I got a text message. It said, it's like some of us may want to vote for DC, even though Hong may be the winner. Yet, can she win the main event? And basically, they said they're between a rock and a hard place. I'm going to say what I've seen a number of people say. Folks can win if we vote for them. If we show up to the polls in mass and in numbers, no matter who the candidate is. We cannot let people continue to throw out the electability question, because that's frequently what's used to discourage people from voting for candidates of color, whether those people are Black, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, or whatever. That electability, it's kind of funny to me, because it's almost like saying we live in a state that is racist to a degree, and the only people they will vote for is a white person, and particularly most often a white male. I am going to challenge that by saying this is a state that elected Barack Obama and Scott Walker at the same time. This is a state that has shown that the pendulum can swing either way, depending on the case that you make to Wisconsin voters. The policies that you're advocating and pushing, and how hard you're willing to fight this fight. And one of the things that, whether these people realize it or not, people want folks that are fighters. That's one of the reasons why Donald Trump has been so popular, is because in all his crass rudeness and, outrageous behavior, one of the underlying merits is he's a fighter. And he is going to push and advocate for what it is that he wants to see happen. When you got folks who don't look like they're fighters, who give up on, themselves or on the process. That was the thing in that U.S. Senate race that just burnt me up, is that you had people that were highly qualified in that U.S. Senate race that bowed out because you got political pundits, strategists, and people in their ear telling them, you can't do it. They won't pick you. You can't make it. And you clear a lane for somebody. And you take that opportunity away from voters. So I'm just telling you, I don't 100%, I can't, not a mind reader, not a psychic, don't have a crystal ball. I feel like I know which way this race is going to go, but we'll see, and like I said, I purposely stayed out of it for whatever little, 3 cents of influence that I have. I just don't choose to do that this time. I noticed that a number of other folks have stayed out of this race. Senator Baldwin, Congressman, I think, was it Pocan? But there have been, high profile Dems who have not weighed in. And, you got to ask the question why, because people understand, any of these candidates, for the most part, not all, but many of them would do a good job. They would be sufficient. But some things you just got to let play out. And then after we get through the primary, then we can come out swinging as a unit in terms of if this is the candidate everybody is going to get behind. So we'll see. We'll see. It's an uncomfortable situation. And like I said, some folks just don't want to listen. They let folks get in their ear and tell them, sweet nothings and hype people up. And it's like, look, I'm not interested in the hype. I'm interested in the plan. I'm not interested in the hype. I want to know how this gets done. Tell me what we can do so we can put soldiers on the ground and get busy. All this, we hope, we wish, we think, we believe, your social media campaigns, your friends pitching for you. Yeah, that don't mean nothing. That means nothing. And I'm gonna be honest. When Francesca Hong says in a forum, I got, what was the number? I'm gonna say it wrong, but it felt like I got 6,000 people on the ground working for me. I got people telling me that they are getting literature, door knocks from Francesca Hong, that they are now on their second touch, if not third, of getting to people. And so people who have been sitting on the fence are now like, I know she working. I know she out here, and some folks think that they can social media you to death. Other folks think my name gonna get me across the line. I'm just telling y'all, August 11th is gonna be a long day. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. And some people are going to come up out of this thing, and hopefully some lessons will be learned about, you know, who you talk to, who you throw your little faith behind, what people are telling you. We say this all the time. I say I got a caller. Here I come. But we say this all the time. People begin to read their own headlines, you know, and people push folks to do stuff when they got their own agenda. This wasn't about, you know, you being great. This is about what I want out the deal, the access that I get, the job that it creates for me, the opportunities that open up because my boy or my girl is in office. And people got to be able to appreciate sometimes when you're being used, because some folks are being used in this race. They don't want to see it. They read the headlines. They think they're the best thing since sliced bread. You not. You regular, dude, ma'am. You regular. And for some of these folks, some of these numbers ain't lying. I love Kelder Royce. You've not broken 5% in any of these polls. And just before I said I was going to wrap, but I just think this is so important to stress. I went back and I pulled, you know, Marquette's success rate in terms of kind of predicting some of these polls. Marquette's polls are known as what is considered the gold standard nationally. Okay. Their track record on a scale of 1 to 3, they're 2.9 on predictions. They're 2.9 or I should say in terms of information and the polls saying where these things are going. That's how well they do. That's why people were sitting there waiting to see. That's how well they do. So nobody is, you know, right 100% of the time. Somebody said they've received nothing from some of these folks, not even a piece of literature, nothing. How the hell are you running for governor of the state of Wisconsin? And there's people who said, I've got nothing from anybody over here or from none of these people. Because, I mean, you have enough money to play in this game. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
The caller dropped off.
Okay, thanks, back. So I'm just, you know, I'm just gonna leave that lay. But y'all got some tough decisions to make. And I am gonna be honest when I say I'm tired of doing the strategizing for people when they talk about can so-and-so beat Tom Tiffany. Wisconsin is a purple state, which means we swing 50-50. And if all of the people that vote Democrat or identify with those values or believe in any of that philosophy, ideology, if you show up, it doesn't matter who your candidate is. You are in the race. You in the game because we know we swing 50-50. And on a statewide race, it's hard to cheat, folks, unless you do voter suppression through ballots, through, you know, poll locations closures, you know, but just a straight up head-to-head fight, a head-to-head match. If you show up, you can get just about any candidate across the line, even a bad one. Somebody said, I got mail from Hong just the other day. She's the only one who sent me anything. That just came through. These races are expensive. That's why Sarah Rodriguez, when that real number became known, no, you're not sitting on millions. You're sitting on $34,000. Man, if you don't get up out of here, you can't do nothing with that. You can do nothing with that. So, and I don't know where you buy enough TV and social media to be able to get in front of the folks that you need to. We only got 7 million people in this state, but it's land-wise, mass-wise, it's a big state. And you got to have some money to play. So let me switch gears for a second. Speaking of money, last night, Lakeisha said to me, "Have you heard this commercial?" And I hadn't. Let me play it for y'all. Where'd it go? It's so much. But here we go. So I'm just gonna play it from my phone and hopefully y'all can hear it.
Recently received one of those layoff notices from Chicago Public Schools, or if you have just been in the market for a job, what do you think about the city of Milwaukee? Because Milwaukee wants you. In fact, they are coming to Chicago and they are recruiting Chicago teachers. They're holding a job fair. It's happening today and tomorrow at the Hotel Zachary in Lakeview. It's from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. They will be conducting on-site interviews and they will be making job offers on the spot. They are hoping to hire around 200 teachers. So you might want to check it out. Teachers, if you have recently received one of those layoff notices from...
So I wanted to share that with you. Milwaukee Public Schools, we know that they are actively hiring. They're trying to fill 200 classroom teacher positions, 150 paraprofessional roles for this upcoming school year. I don't know the exact date when school starts, but I know August is around the corner. Okay. And I'm telling people right now, number one, if you need a job and you have, September 1st, somebody said, and you have, the ability to go and be a paraprofessional. I think you need some college credits to be able to do that, maybe up to 60, I'm not sure. But find out what it is because these people are hiring right away. If you are someone who has a degree and you are not a certified teacher, but you want to go through the program to become one, apply to MPS. I even heard that there is an effort underway for MPS to hire back some of the administrators that they had let go. So I've yet to have the conversation with the superintendent. I just haven't, and it's on me too because I haven't reached out. I haven't had that conversation. I know she's been on other shows. I just haven't done it yet.
Public schools.
Sorry, I just haven't done it yet. But I'm trying to figure out how we 46 million in the hole, but we need 200 teachers. We let administrators go, but we're bringing some back. It's a lot at play. And the thing that was interesting, they said for these roles, the average teacher salary is around $90,000, health benefits, state pension system. You get vested in terms of retirement, I think in a relatively, for me, short period of time, 5 years, which is what it is at the state. But like if you are a new incoming teacher or somebody who had just started teaching in Chicago and then something happens and you lost your job over there, Chicago teachers start at roughly about $10,000 more a year than we pay teachers in Wisconsin. Our teachers come in somewhere around 54, 57, somewhere, $1,000 a year, brand new out the gate, coming into the classroom, zero experience. In Chicago, they come in around 64, 67. I don't know what the specific number is, but I know it's a $10,000 gap between our starting pay and Chicago's starting pay. After you get so many years of experience, then you begin to see, or you come in with a master's degree, then you begin to see that additional pay. So when we see, the average teacher salary is around $90,000, that's teachers with years of experience. That's not somebody that's walking in off the street. I've been teaching a year, 2 years. You're not getting $90,000. Now, depending on how desperate stuff get, never know. But contractually, unions, salary negotiation, you're not getting that. But I think it's interesting. So I wanted to bring it up because anybody that's looking for a job and you think that you could work in education, please, please, please reach out to Milwaukee Public Schools and all you people that got some education and are doing other things. I don't know what the starting para pay is, but I think it's somewhere around 20 some bucks an hour. And these are full-time jobs. In most cases, you need to go apply, because if we can do a hiring push in Chicago, we can do a hiring push in Milwaukee. I haven't seen that push, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening. I just haven't seen it. I haven't had an ad run on WNOV asking folks, because we got people here that are retired educators that could come back to MPS. We have people here that are doing other things that could easily transition over into education. I haven't seen the ads run here, but I know we got a whole recruiting event down the road in Chicago, and Chicago just went through a round of layoffs of teachers. So it's people that's going to be looking for jobs, whether they commute down here or they relocate here is a whole different question. But I would hope that every effort is being made homegrown to talk to people that are in this state, that are in this community, that are in this city. So this aggressive, we looking for folks. I don't understand why MPS is not running ads or sending people to come talk to folks on our show, on other shows, where there are billboards, because y'all talking about 30 days to get your hiring house in order. That's it. Y'all got about 30 days to get these folks hired, onboarded, and ready to be in the classroom when the doors open on the first day of school. So MPS, if y'all got anybody that's listening, you are welcome to come on my show and talk to the community about what it is you need, what are the basic qualifications to get in the door. But please don't be down the road in Chicago begging for teachers. And there are things that we can also do here locally to get more people into the classroom. That has to be said. Jay, are you telling me I have a caller, or am I good?
It's time for a break.
Okay, before I go to break, let me just do this if I could. I want to remind people that we are doing our 11th annual resource fair. This is a cool event. It is happening tomorrow, beginning at 11 a.m. over at the Clinton Road Senior Center. That address is 3045 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. And I'm telling you, come out for the resources. It is going to be a fun day. Anybody that has ever attended these, they can tell you it's a good time, but you got education, community organizations providing valuable services and information. You can win state fair tickets. You can be eligible for one of the cash prizes that we're going to be giving away every hour. Bring the kids. We got MPD, Milwaukee Police Department. They bring in the ice cream truck, Mobile Survive Alive House, making sure kids understand how to be safe in an emergency. We have backpack giveaways while those supplies last because of partners that have come to the table. We got demos where you can actually drive a Tesla. You can stop by Versity to donate blood to make sure that everybody is okay. So I want to remind people tomorrow, I'm not going to be there with you, but enjoy it. Have a good time. For me, our 11th annual community resource fair happening over at Clinton Rose. I'll talk more about it when I get back on the other side. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Be right back. All right, folks. Thank you for, tuning in this morning. Appreciate everybody that's hanging with me while I am out of town. Couple of other quick things. Want to make sure that I try to work in. First of all, I did not forget about the Social Security conversation. There are a couple of things I'm looking at in relationship to that I needed to flesh out before I could speak about it with a degree of confidence. So let me just, by the time I come back on Monday, I should be ready to roll on that. And excuse me, I didn't really go hard on a conversation I think I touched on briefly yesterday, talking about down at Tuskegee. I know Keith had come in just as I had mentioned the last couple of minutes of it, but talking about down at Tuskegee University, a private historically Black college and university, and their policy on no bonnets, no do-rags, in public spaces on the yard in terms of like class. I think the CAF, I'll go back and look at the specifics of their new policy. But one of the things that was frustrating me is, and people have been weighing in on this all around the country. One of the things that was irritating me to some extent, if I can characterize it that way, probably could use a better word, but for now, that's the one I'm gonna go with, is people trying to equate bonnets on folks' head with Black culture. Yeah, I need all that to stop. I need all that to stop. In terms of you outside in public with this mess on your head. Since we have been here in Martha's Vineyard, we were at a restaurant having brunch a couple of days ago. And a young brother, came in. He was getting his breakfast to go. And he had a big purple bonnet on his head and his pants were sagging. Everybody in that restaurant turned around and looked at this brother. Like, are you kidding me right now? Or are you kidding me right now? Bonnets outside have made it to the Vineyard. Are you kidding me right now? And so I haven't publicly weighed in a ton on some of this. I've been more interested to read what, folks have had to say, people whose opinions, I put a lot of stock in. I pay attention to what they say. Some folks, it's like, okay, you doing the most. But people trying to act like folks are trying to make judgments based on how white folks move, white folks standards. These young people, particularly on a college campus, when you should and shouldn't have a bonnet on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, y'all, I'm at breakfast out in a public space. I did not come to breakfast to see you with this mess on your head. It was not meant for outside. Don't keep hollering about its protective headgear, because the only time it's protecting you is when you at home sleep in the bed or taking a nap on your couch. It was never meant to be outside. And people want to make comparisons to other headgear. I know the difference between headgear and a bonnet. Bonnet is not headgear. It was not intended to be worn outside. This is not Black culture. This is hood culture. It's ghetto and it's nasty. I'm sorry. I don't care who I offended, but we gonna stop, because Black women been looking for ways to protect their hair for as long as Black women have had hair. And I can go back to the 50s and the 60s and 70s, and you ain't see Black women walking around with this nonsense on their head, yet alone these dudes. Because when I started seeing the dudes with the bonnets, I was like, I can't take it, Jesus. I'm about to lose my mind, because it looked crazy. So everything that somebody do that's Black does not mean that that's Black culture. That means that's what they do. That's how they get down. That's how they rock. Don't assign that to all Black people, because that's not our stuff. Historically, if you look, that's not our stuff. And can new things get started? Of course they can. And the Black community adopt them? Of course we do. The majority of us, we not adopting that. Don't put that on us. That has nothing to do with individual freedom of expression and blah, blah, blah. There are some social contracts, spoken and unspoken, that I think we ought to be willing to pay attention to. You coming to the airport in your pajamas is trifling. They make comfortable clothes to travel in. It's called sweatpants. It's called spandex. It's called cotton. It's called denim. You don't have to wear pajamas to travel in the airport. You're nasty. It's unnecessary. These colleges, I just said this in a post, we are preparing young adults for life, not just for the workforce. I don't care where you go, particularly on a Black college campus, at any given time, you never know. I see the caller, I'm coming. You never know who you're going to see, who you're going to meet. You never know. Because all kinds of folks, powerful decision makers, corporate recruiters, celebrities, these people are on the yard. They coming in for a meeting to talk about an event that's coming up, a project, internships they want to offer, and they see you going across the campus in your bonnet to the calf. And then the same people have an opportunity to remember you when you coming in for the interview. You can't make it. You can't make it. I'm just frustrated that we keep trying to grab onto things that literally we shouldn't be grabbing onto. I gotta take a break. Let me get this caller in, and then I'm gonna take a break. But y'all, it's so much more important stuff that we gotta be debating. And whether or not you come out of the house with something on your head that was intended for you to sleep in or wear while you laying down, I don't understand what the conversation is. I just don't. But them bonnets is some ghetto nonsense. I don't care who have them on. Kamala Harris can have it on, which she never would. But it's some ghetto nonsense. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Jay, we still got the caller? Are we okay?
You can't hear the caller?
No, I can't.
Oh, wow. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, caller. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful, but my thing is, why would you have to even tell somebody that? I think it got to the point that some of these people who live that way, y'all just giving up. And I blame your mother and I blame your father, because some of y'all know better. Why is anybody seeing you in your bloomer panties? And then you walking outside in your robe and you taking that filth right back in your house. That's why don't nobody want to live around y'all. And if you came that way, I wouldn't hire you at all. And you big grown men, y'all need to stop wearing y'all pajamas. That looks very foul, uncouth, ratchet, stink. Okay? Cut it out. And if you can't find nobody to talk to, find somebody to talk to. And also, some of y'all can't talk to your mamas because some of them are too messed up. Go find somebody who take care of themselves. Talk to them about hygiene and how to present yourself. Matter of fact, hell, go to your neighborhood church. And, I never say that if you need to find out how to carry yourself. And if you're offended, be offended. I don't care. Bye-bye.
All right, caller. Thank you. Look, you are not gonna get no argument on me from me today, because you just can't keep making excuses for just laziness, triflingness. We have social contracts, like I said, spoken and unspoken, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around, why must I be looking at your underwear out in the streets? Your pants up underneath your butt cheeks. All of it's ignorant. It's not fashionable. It's not stylish. It's ignorant. And then you think somebody gonna hire you, or somebody wants you in and out the establishment, but people gotta look at your drawers. Anybody got time for that? Anybody got time for that? So I gotta go to yes, Jay.
I was gonna say, see, the whole new fad is wearing designer drawers.
I know.
You want people to see your designer drawers, which, again, these people that makes this stuff, they knew what they was doing. They knew the look that it was going to give off, but because it's designer and it has a name on it, they knew that our culture would want to show it. It would want to, this is what I got.
But it also speaks to something I have said so many times before. All of this is Band-Aids for self-esteem.
Yep.
Because people that really are confident in who they are, They know they value, they know they worth. They know when they walk into a room, they command a presence. I don't need you to look at Louis Vuitton on my panties
Exactly.
to know that I'm cold or I got it going on. If you got to walk around with your drawers showing, that means you really are lacking and inadequate, and there's something wrong. And so this is how you prop up your self-esteem. All of it's false self-esteem.
Yep.
Let me take a break, bro. I appreciate you for bringing that piece up. And let me tell you, it was so funny. I was talking to my son's mom. I mean, my grandson's, my grandbaby's mom, and she was laughing because I bought him some Sonic underwear. And he loves the Sonic underwear. And, he was like, "Oh, somebody got to see. I got those Sonic underwear." Like, no, they don't. No, they don't. This is for you. This is for your personal. You fly. But so it was funny that, like, some of y'all grown folks think like a child. That's my point. You got grown people who think like a 7-year-old baby. I'll be right back, y'all. Are we back? Hey. Yeah, all right. Thank you. I see that there is company in the studio. Let me say good morning to Mr. Doug Kelly and
Good morning.
Big head Keith Paris. I saw you pull back from the screen. I see you. Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
We have our 11th annual community resource fair coming up tomorrow.
Yes. Michelle, I've been doing this for 11 years, and I have to say that tomorrow is probably going to be one of the best ever that we have ever done. And a couple of reasons for that is one, Robin Eastern, our administrative assistant, was extremely helpful in getting a lot of activity. So we're going to have activities on the inside and activities on the outside. And I know you talked about it earlier, the Survivor Live House, the MPD, ice cream truck, and Versity Blood Center. So, those individuals who have not signed up, please, it's very important that Black and brown individuals like ourselves donate blood. So we have a few people, but you can walk up tomorrow and do that. And then there'll be a drawing later that day or the next day. Whoever has donated blood will be in a drawing for a $50 gift card. Couple of things I just need to highlight is one, besides all the tons of resources that we're going to have, JP Morgan Chase Bank is going to be doing a book bag giveaway. We're going to give away about 200 book bags tomorrow at 12:30 and 1:30. So people just need to come and listen to a 5-10 minute presentation and bring your child, and they'll be able to get a free book bag. Also, and of course it was my era. This is a family event, so we're going to have activities there for the kids. I think we have character drawing, face painting, a balloon guy. So there'll be things for everyone to come and participate. So it should be a great event. Like I said, this is probably going to be one of the best ones ever because all the resources and all the activities that we're going to have there that day.
Hey, get to the money, bro. I ain't hear nothing about the money.
Oh, yes. Well, we're going to be doing drawings tomorrow. We're going to vary out the money giveaway, but we're going to be giving away State Fair tickets and some other surprises that we may pull out. So when people come to participate, they'll get a ticket, and randomly we'll be doing a drawing during the course of the day.
All right. And so how long is the event running? And remind people what time it starts, but more importantly,
11 a.m. It'll be from 11 to 3 at the Clinton Road Senior Center, 3045 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. Yes.
And I know we've had music and that kind of things before. Are folks going to be able to see radio personalities? Is it going to be music down there? What's going on?
Well, everyone's going to come looking for you, so we may have to just pull you up on a screen or do a mock-up, and so they can take pictures with you. But yes, all the staff and management, on-air personalities will be there throughout the course of the day, and yes, we'll be having music playing live from the place, and we have food trucks, so if people get hungry, they can go out there and support the food trucks. I think we have 3 different food trucks that's going to be there tomorrow as well.
Somebody on our chat asked, why is Tesla going to be there? What's that about?
Oh, Tesla's doing a demo drive. So people who always wanted to test it out and everything else, they're going to be there in the parking lot, and individuals will be able to test drive one just to check it out.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it is going to be a good time. I am going to miss it, but hopefully folks come out, take advantage of the resources, the opportunity to get access to information, help get those babies some of the supplies that they need for schools while they last. Don't let this stuff and this opportunity go to waste, community. And there's a lot of work that has gone into putting it together. Thank you to Robin for making sure, we were looking at the whole picture. And so I just hope y'all can have a good time tomorrow.
All right. Thanks a lot, Michelle. Have a good one.
You know what? You look way too boring. You should probably not come on. You should send a representative.
Okay, I'll send my friend next time.
No smiles, none of that. Yeah.
There we go, personal representative. Yeah.
Look, somebody just asked me, was I on house arrest? You know what? Why? See, well, we'll talk about you. Somebody talk about I look like I'm on house arrest. I can't with you. I just can't. I can't with my people. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good one. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, bro. Hopefully everything is a huge success tomorrow. All right, y'all, I got to get out the way. Thursday is my day to end early, but I want to end.
Plead the fifth.
Not the fifth.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You say fifth. Go ahead, ask me a question. Did you? I have a secret document that I think you need to say.
I promise I want to play it again. I just want to say kudos to my man Anthony Fauci, who said he played the fifth 111 times yesterday during the hearing, making Rand Paul and Donald Trump hot as a firecracker.
Yeah, I was doing Dave Chappelle at the house. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God! When you talk about this return to Donald Trump to the White House has been nothing but the revenge tour. That's all it is. It is so sad that people who have given their entire life to serve in this country, then you got to come back. And I'm not saying people are perfect. People don't make mistakes. You can't ask people about that. But what Rand Paul and them is doing is so out of order and so unfair. And I need to talk about it, but it was no way I was not going to do Dave Chappelle because it just was appropriate. And Fauci should have actually just had a recording of it. See, that's why they'll let black people come, because we would have had a recording and just hit the button every time they asked the question. Oh my God!
Laura Ingraham sitting in the audience.
Say what?
Was that Laura Ingraham sitting in the audience at that hearing yesterday?
You know what? I didn't actually physically see it. I was listening to it while I was moving around.
Well, what happened was when I got off the air, I got a news blurb that said that Anthony Fauci had been pleading the fifth. So when I got home, he was still pleading the fifth. Please. You get James Brown on.
Well, I know the way he talked about, but what I haven't been able to figure out, and Keith, I don't know if you've talked about this or planning to talk about it, how they got a hold of his diaries. That's one of the reasons I don't do diaries.
I don't know if it was subpoenaed.
Why was his, like, I got to get to the bottom of how his diary got into play.
Right.
I learned when I was a kid. I'll put that mess in right.
And he learned the lesson from Jack Smith and from James Comey, where you'll say it and then they'll try to get you where it's an inconsistent statement. So yeah, I'm not going to give you any ammunition.
Absolutely. Well, look, I look forward to hearing your show this morning, bro. Family, I appreciate y'all for making it go. I will talk to you all next week, but I will be watching and supporting y'all.
Studio next week?
Say what?
You heard me.
What you say?
You say you back in the studio next week?
Hell no. No. I'm going for another week, player. I will see y'all on what, the 11th or something else? I'll see y'all next. Yeah, I'll see y'all another week. I'm about to go have some fun now.
Nice.
To hell
I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.